And I'm not trying to lose or get left in the dust. Sorry, I like this song. I think you'll ever be too much, or you'll be left in the dust unless I stop higher. Okay, I need to stop it. I'm sorry, I've just been using music to get my spirits and frequencies up lately, so pardon me. All right, welcome back. I'm out here. I'm feeling free, you know what I'm saying? I got my cleavage out, got my hair out. I'm just chilling, you guys. I'm feeling great. I've been feeling real good. Just letting y'all know. I've been feeling man good lately. Okay. So, welcome back, you guys. We're going to be talking about, this is going to be episode 3. And I did like a little poll. I did a little poll on Instagram asking you guys what were we going to discuss this time. And surprisingly, domestic violence won. So the 3 options were domestic violence, white lies, and older people dating younger people and the dynamics of that. So I'm going to still do all 3 of those topics, just in, depending on the order that I got the polls in. So surprisingly, I thought domestic violence would be like the last one, and I really didn't want to cover it. But according to my little following, you guys want to hear about that. So that's what we're going to talk about. So let's just get into it, okay? I wrote some notes. Probably not going to follow them all. Y'all know how I get. So get ready. Brace yourselves. Hope you like my cup. Okay, let's go. All right, so episode 3, domestic violence. All right, so there's many kinds of domestic violence. It's not just physical. All right, so it can range from violent words, violent expressions, violent outbursts, physical altercations and attacks, and it doesn't necessarily have to be one person. So it doesn't have to just, domestic violence doesn't have to be like, the dad beats the mom, or the mom beats the kids, or the dad beats the kids. It can also be like a kid who is, violent against the parents, or siblings that the parents don't even know about, or it could be so many different things, all right? It could be one person, it could be both, it could be all who live in, within the domestic unit. It could be like a whole generation of people who are domestically violent. And it could also be portrayed as normal. It's just normal, like how people communicate. That's how we communicated violently, whether it was with words or expressions or attitudes or physical, okay? Domestic violence also doesn't have to necessarily be that somebody's hitting someone else. It can also be like, you can be in the home and somebody's physical with the things in the home. So most of the time, people, the way domestic violence is shown to us as a collective is, it's mostly, it's often displayed on films and programmings, like as men beating women, or men beating on children, or using their masculine strength in an abusive way against the weaker either sex or counterpart, which will be like a child or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people, when they think of domestic violence, people who really don't experience it, probably think like, oh, that's what domestic violence looks like. But that's not the case. You can be a victim of domestic violence, or be the person who is doing and engaging in and causing the domestic violence just by being the guy or the girl who comes home, curses everyone out, is negative, shuts everyone out, wants to be, it's not violent, it's not physically violent, but it's still violent verbally, energetically, spiritually, you know what I'm saying? Like, you still put off that violent vibe. It's still a vibe of violence, like where you don't know how to communicate, you scream instead of talk to people. That's domestic violence. Your training or whatever it is that you're doing when you're communicating with your children should not be in a violent way where you are violently screaming or projecting expressions that show them they're not liked, or they're doing something wrong, or it's not the way that you would want it done, or something to that matter. Now, I know that a lot of people have their own ways of expressing shit, all right? But I had a friend, a good dear friend of mine. If you watching this, shout out to my boy. You know who you are if you hear this, you know what I'm saying? The saying that I was told that blew my mind and had me change the way I looked at things was people result in violence when they feel mentally defeated. And that blew my mind because I consider, and I take pride in the way how sharp my mind is and how I move around and like how I come to think and dissect things. And, you know, I take pride in my mind. So, and my mental agility and strength and capacity, I take pride in that. So for me personally, when I looked at it like, wow, so all along the reason why I get frustrated and angry is because I feel like I'm being mentally defeated. And when I looked at it like in an honest way, I was like, yo, holy shit, that's true. It's true. It's true. I feel like whoever it is I'm arguing with or going through something with, I can't get through to them any other way that I can communicate, which mostly is by either expression, verbal, or example. Okay, so if those things weren't registering to people I loved, it drove me crazy. Or people that I felt like needed to behave a certain way. You understand? So like that drove me crazy. So that will in turn make me feel like, I'm gonna put my fucking hands on you then you must want these hands. You understand? And I thought, especially because I'm born and raised in that urban community culture, you know, idea from New York City, I have that, you know, like that shit is cool, that's culture, that's popping, that shit is not cool. That shit is, it's a very sick cycle that my culture has. And we're conditioned to thinking, hey, stop it. And we're conditioned to thinking that that's cool. Oh, I'm not gonna, you know what I'm saying? But it's a really unhealthy trait, to be honest. And a lot of us pick it up because we witness domestic violence in our homes and around our homes. Now, I don't have the statistics. I'm sure it's just as likely on each side of the game, like men and women. Point of the matter is, like, women, y'all not exempt. It's not domestic violence when you catch your man cheating and you punch him in the face. But if you get caught cheating and you get punched in the face, it's the same thing. It's the same thing when we hit the boys. It's the same thing when the boys hit the girls. First and foremost, okay? So I'm explaining why it doesn't matter what sex you are, who you are, what role you play within the domestic unit. You should not be putting your hands on nobody. And I'm going to explain to you why right now. All right. There's this thing called free will. It's a universal law. We all have it. You've heard of it. Let's put our common sense brains on. And this is for, like I tell y'all all the time, this is for the strong-minded. Like, let's not play stupid. Okay? Let's not play stupid. Let's not create hypothetical situations. Let's just keep it a buck. Okay? You're either two people watching this right now. Or three. You're either two or three. You're either A, the person who puts their hands on people frequently. So either you're the violent person or you're the person that's being, the violence is being taken out on. Or you're just a person who's known about those types of people and witnessed it, maybe. Free will. Free will is a universal law. Okay? Free will is a universal law. This means that you have the freedom to do whatever you will for yourself in this life experience as you as a human being. For as ever long as you're alive on this earth, you have free will to make whatever choices you want. The person that hits people and thinks that physical or all of it, they have a characteristic trait called narcissism. Look it up. Some people have it more than others. I mean, it's like a personality disorder, they say, I guess, or whatever. But I'm probably a little bit narcissist myself. So, however the case may be, is we all have the characteristic in us. Some have it way worse than others to the point where it's fucking, I mean, amazingly crazy. Like, narcissism in a person is threatened by the fact that you, the other person who isn't violent or whatever have you, is not doing what they want them to do. The violent person doesn't like that the peaceful person is having free will. When you decide to do things on your own terms, however it is that you want to do it, that threatens this person. That means that you can't see them the way they need you to see them, or the way they feel or think you should be seeing or thinking or doing or behaving or living or whatever it is. So once they see that, they start to feel like you need to be subjected to some sort of a violent attack, whether that is mentally, physically, sexually, you know, whatever. They'll punish you that way. However, each narcissist has their own abuse traits and how they start to you know, to put on. So the whole point of this video is to understand that the domestic violence is the result of these types of characteristics. So you got to understand that when you're in a relationship with somebody and you like, you know, I love them, you know, they need help First and foremost, the violent person definitely needs help. You understanding that they're violent is not the type of help they need. That is an enabler. And you see, and codependency. So narcissism, those people, they create dependence. They create that. You have to depend on that because you feed them now. You understand? They need your willingness, your free will to obey with them and their abuse and their tactics in order for them to feel powerful, because they're really fear. They're really operating in fear. We'll get to that in 2 seconds. So if you are the violent ones, I'm not against you guys. Like I've told you, I've been violent in my life too. You understand? Because society looks at women doing it less likely, then I could sit here with a free guilt, with, you know what I'm saying, with like a guilt-free conscience. Like, yeah, I put my hands on all my boyfriends, but I definitely have. You know what I'm saying? Whenever I've gone through relationships. But if I was a man, I wouldn't be so confident sitting up here like, yeah, I punch some bitches in the face. I definitely wouldn't feel good about saying that. So I'm not upset at you guys, or I'm not against you guys. I know that you guys have a problem, but I'm trying to help you understand your mind in a way that you don't feel like you so fucked up. But the truth of the matter is there's a brokenness, and you got to look into my other videos. Check out my other videos. Go to season 1, and you'll see the first episode is where I was talking about how I was an abused person, and in turn it turned me into an abuser, all right, of people. So anyway, back to what I'm saying. All right, so the narcissism is something that, you know, it definitely needs the other person's willingness. All right, but it gets mad that you have your own free will. Whenever you decide to operate in your own free will, it flips out on you, and then, you know, then you're in turn, until you are, you know, till you are so conscious of their attacks and their punishments that you're so fearful. Now you're operating in fear that you're trying your best to be on your best behavior to avoid those attacks. However, no matter what you do, you will still annoy and piss off the narcissist, because it's nothing that you're doing or don't do. It's just the fact that they need to attack you and have you obeying whatever will. Because even when you're meek and you're following all their little psychotic ways of being to avoid their punishment, now they're pissed off at the fact that you're weak and you don't stand up for yourself. They'll attack you with that, to the point where you will be flesh and bone, ripped down till you don't have anything to stand up for yourself. Okay? So this is, they don't realize the sickness inside of them, and that they're just passing their trauma off because of their own way of not being able to handle their fear. They're operating in the below red zone of fear. When a person is violent, right? The violent people, their mind, the reason why they get violent is because their mind cannot find a healthy solution quick enough for whatever the action is that pissed them off. Most of the time, the people that are violent have a lot of the subconscious darkness, all the things that are inside of them. First and foremost, they've gone through some trauma in their past. They probably don't even want to discuss it, can't discuss it, don't know how, probably ashamed to go to therapy for it, whatever have you. Maybe they have substance abuse, and that doesn't help either. Go look back at the depression video. Go look back at the I forget even what the first video was, but no, that's the easy to break up thing. But go back into the other things. You'll see all these videos correlate with one another, so you definitely should check them out. So in their mind, it's like I was saying in the depression video, in their mind they can't find any type of a healthy solution. You understand? Like, they don't even know how to figure it out quick enough for whatever pissed them off, how to approach it. You understand? Or even if it is, because a violent person or domestic violence, at the times when it's going down, it seems like they don't like us or we don't like them. You understand? Those energies, we can be in that space like, I can't stand this person. That's where the violence stems from. Okay, but really what it is that we haven't yet done the work on ourselves to figure out why are we feeling those things about this person, and why their own personal decisions and choices frustrate us so much. We haven't done that work. The abuser, or the violent person, I should say, the violent person is the person who has not done the work. Okay, so what happens is the action occurs, whatever pisses them off, whatever doesn't sit right with them, and they don't know how to rationally come up with a solution for that quick enough, and so they are mentally defeated, and then they result to violence. That's what happens during domestic violence. Okay, whatever the issue is, you know, thoughts Thoughts can't help. It's also a part of, the conditioning, the subconscious behaviors, which is why it's important to know what's being put in there. So no matter what you going through, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta make sure that you know what you're listening to. I tell this to everybody all the time. Like, you just gotta understand that's just the way it works, man. I know it sounds crazy and shit like that, but it's just official. Like, if you understand how your brain operates, you'll be able to really master your life out a lot better. Like, you have a subconscious mind. It stores 97 fucking percent of the things that you want to do in your life. Your subconscious mind stores information that you see and hear on a daily basis since the day you was born and every day in between. So, like, whatever you're putting in there, down to the music, down to the videos, down to the things you're looking at down the road where you live, the things you smell, all of that subconsciously is stored into your mind, man. So you're in charge to know what you put in there. So you listening to songs called, talking about fuck bitches, get money, and this, that, and the third, or whatever, and slap a hoe, and man, trust me when I tell you, that's just stored in your subconscious, and it may influence some of your behavior. Just saying. Don't be crying when you're in jail, so I don't know why I act like this. I'm telling you why you act like this right now. That's why it's important, all right? So back to the free will. All of our souls are created equal, okay? In the sense that we have our free will. So everybody has different races. Everybody looks different. Everybody has different experiences, so on and so forth. But that saying that we're all created equal, is to say that we're all free will beings. We all have the freedom to create our own will for our own self. That means that another soul, mother, father, nothing, it doesn't matter, anyone outside of yourself, your own body, they can't tell you what to do. They cannot tell you what to do. I don't care. I don't care if they're your boss. I don't care if they're your client. Look at all these videos. Look at all these things that's going on in the world right now. We're like, for instance, those videos of that chick in McDonald's that got grabbed and yoked up by that dude on the other side because she didn't do something he said. He felt the need, for whatever reason, to physically attack her. Okay, that's not a domestic violence situation, but that's a prime example of a violent person. And I'm pretty sure when he's at home within his domestic unit, that's how he either has been responded to as a child or in turn responds to people as he's an adult. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to say. Free will means you can do what you want to do. You have the freedom to make whatever choices. The abuser, the violent person, he had the free will, or she had the free will, or it had the free will to decide to use violence to get their point across or to express the way that they felt at the moment. You have the free will to either decide to body their ass back, or put your hands back, defend yourself, or curl up, or not defend yourself, or stay in the situation, or leave the situation. Free will is always being, presented in these circumstances, all right? The free will helps us to be able to make our own choices in life, and then in return, bringing karma, okay? So now, in accordance with free will, there's something that comes with free will. When we have the free will to create whatever it is that we want, whether that be punch somebody in the face that we love in a home unit, or defend ourselves from somebody that punches us in the face in our home unit, or leave the situation in our home unit or whatever, there's karma that comes. So, homeboy, homegirl, violent person, whoever you are, you choose to use violence to express yourself, there's a karmatic situation that will return to you because you violated one of the universal laws of free will. You are, by universal law, I don't care what religion you in, I don't care what religion you in, I don't care at all who you think you serve. You cannot put your hands on somebody and think you just repented or asked for forgiveness and then do it again or whatever have you, and you think that the universe ain't going to give you back an experience for equal give and take. You're bugging. That's not how this universe works. So when you take away from a person's free will, when you take physical will, free will from a person, which is personally probably my biggest fear in the world. And I've got abused. I've been physically hit by somebody that I love. and it blew my mind. It was probably one of the most scariest things that I've ever had to go through in my life. But anyway, neither here nor there. When you put when someone, because I know who somebody's watching this, and y'all be putting your hands on people you love. Let me tell you something. When you put your hands on the people within your family that doesn't deserve it, anybody, when you put your hands on people, you are taking away their freedom of free will, their freedom to defend themselves, their freedom to be and choose without feeling threatened and things like that. That's what y'all doing. And when you do that, you create a karma for yourself. And that karma is going to take something from you that you're not willing to give up. Something that's dear to you and sensitive to you. It may not be physical. You might be able to take an ass whooping. Obviously, you're used to violence and you understand that. But you're not understanding what you're really doing. In reality, in the real fucking operation of the shit, you taking free will from people. And that's against God more so than anything else. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. Some motherfuckers really deserve to get their ass washed. There's a lot of people out there that have different reasons why they feel that they're justified in their behavior. But no, you're not justified in your fucking behavior. You have the free will to leave a motherfucker that you think is no good for you, or you think doesn't know how to operate correctly. Because you have to understand the universal law that you ain't nobody to tell them what they can and cannot do. That they need to do this and that. They need to do what they fucking free will tells them to do. And if that's to be a hoe, a bitch, a shitty mother, or whatever it is, then they need to go ahead and do that so they can have their karma and learn their lessons. You understand? You, by punching them and they lights out and doing the shit you do to them, ain't really fucking helping nothing. All right? For whatever it is. And those are some reasons. I don't know who that was for. But those are just some reasons that people might get punched out here and there. You know what I'm saying? But then let's flip it around. Because then you got a lot of women. Y'all want to put your hands on your husbands because they want to love you too much. And your subconscious knows you don't deserve it. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of women that are disrespectful to your children because you angry that the father didn't want to be with you and this little motherfucker looked like the dad, and now you want to be disrespectful to the kids and treat them like shit when you angry because niggas ain't, playing your keyboards the way that you want them stroked or whatever the case, your little guitar strings or whatever I'm saying. You know what I'm talking about and you know who you are. That shit is all out of universal alignment. That's not what's up. Okay, so yeah, you could be cool for punching somebody in the face. Yeah, it could be, oh yeah, you already know my hands work. Oh, I will this, I will that, all that bullshit. I already know about all that cool shit. Yeah, cool. First of all, it's fucking childish. It's unhealthy. And even the children that are acting like that, they're getting that shit from A, the places you choose to raise them. B, the music you let them listen to. C, the films you let them watch. D, the motherfucking shit you show them in your home. In conclusion of the free will is you're not only physically abusing somebody, the real hurting and detrimental thing here is that you're taking the free will of somebody. So your soul now owes karmic debt to the universe where you have to in turn pay back energy in other ways. You're not exempt from that, okay, violent one? So you got to understand that domestic violence shit, like, oh, I was twisted, I was drunk, it's your responsibility to undo the shit that hurt you in the past, so that way when you get fucked up and drunk and shit, you don't go home and beat up the people you love, all right? Whether that's a female or a male, whether you go, you running around and you go home, you twisted because you mad at your man because he don't live a certain life the way you want him to do. He's got free will. If he want to hang out and do dumb shit that you don't agree with, then you got the free will to leave him. What you don't need to do is come home, be a violent bitch to him, fight him in front of your children, disrespect him in front of his family or in front of your family, emasculate him and shit like that. That is violent. That's domestic violence. That shit just stems until it gets to be physical abuse and more different things. Okay? So, I mean, it's just, no one's exempt. Y'all got free will. Operate that shit. You not happy with the way this person chooses to live their life? Leave them and choose better for yourself. Don't choose to be defeated mentally and then you physically put your hands and take away, you understand, free will of another person, or making somebody else's life experience miserable because you don't know how to detach from your shit. I have a message for you, okay? So this is a message for the violent person, all right? You are choosing fear anger and pain over love. Every time you feel like you're about to have a violent outburst, or you want to punch somebody's fucking head off, or you want to curse somebody out, you want to slam the door in the house, or you want to scream at the top of your lungs, or whatever it is that you want to do because you're angry, all right? You are using your free will. You are choosing anger, fear, and pain over love, all right? Every time you outburst violently, your true strength inside, not the because you gotta remember, being violent makes us feel like, yo, I'm controlling, right? I'm controlling the situation, but we're really not, all right? We're mentally defeated, and our true strength, which is our mentality, all right, is defeated by our fear, and our lack of control of our thoughts is what's causing for us to now want to physically control, okay, all right? And that's why we're becoming violent. So you have to understand that. And this is how I learned how to control my violence. So I used to be really angry a lot growing up as a kid, because I seen a lot of domestic violence in my house. Not necessarily saying that my father was hitting my mother, or my mother was hitting my father, or anything like that. But it was just violent. It was like violent. Like my father would flip the dinner table over if my mother said the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying? While we all sat at the table, and just that fear alone would be like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck's gonna happen next? So things like that, set people off, and it just causes trauma. And those little things are stored in the subconscious, and they do pop up, believe you me, even if they're small. Even if you look at it like, yeah, my father or my mother didn't fight, but there was a lot of door slamming and glass breaking and room crying, and that's all domestic violence. It's violent tones, expressions, vibes, violent vibes. That's just how I see it. So you want to learn your thermodynamics, okay? Now, energy. I always talk about energy. So your thermodynamics is how your energy works in your body when you're angry, all right? So one thing's for sure is the law of thermodynamics that we know is that energy don't die. When we're angered, our energy's affected by that. We start to get physically, now these are the little scientific facts that I'm going to bring up. So now we get physically hot. We get temperature rising. We get like our blood pressure goes up. Our metabolism speeds up. We pissed off. We start to sweat. We start to pace. We start to talk fast. You know what I'm saying? When you upset, you ever when people fight, they repeat shit over and over. You ever seen people fight? Like my favorite shit, I'm from the hood, so whenever I see chicks fight, it always just be like, bitch, bitch, bitch. Point of the matter is, you have to know that you can't kill that energy. That energy just doesn't stop. You can't just kill it off. You have to transmute it. Okay, you have to change it into something else. All right, and the only way you can calm that down when you're angry is through breath, through breathing consciously, not hyperventilating. There be some kids. You remember, y'all ever had who's the angry kid? Which one of y'all watching is the angry kid from school that be like? That's hyperventilating. You don't want to do that. That's the wrong breathing. That's feeding the anger and the thermodynamics to the point where you amp yourself up so much that you fucking like brawling, But the breathing is an exercise that you want to do to calm yourself down when you're pissed off. When somebody strikes them chords in you, that raises up that alarm, like, fuck this motherfucker up. For whatever reason, you have to breathe first. You can't think about anything because you're angered at the moment and your thoughts are not clear right now. Once you start already now, your metabolism, your blood pressure's up, you're not thinking clearly. You're not even thinking clearly. One of the laws of success, one of the universal laws of success is to wait 24 hours before making any type of verbal announcement or physical action to decisions. So when you're angered, you making a decision right off the rip. To put hands on somebody is just going to furthermore keep you in elongated anger. You know what I'm saying? So please keep your hands to yourself. Your breath. What I like to do is I'll breathe in for 4 seconds through my nose. Hold it for 4 seconds. Release it for 4 seconds. Through the mouth. Release it through the mouth. And I'll do that a couple times. Now that allows me to calm down. When I'm angered, I'm usually crying because I'm upset and I want to beat the shit out of somebody. Right? But I've got my breath game enough down that I could calm down really quick. Like within 3 sessions of that 4 second thing, in and out, I'm calm. Once I'm calm, then I can console myself a little bit, you know, process what's going on. First, when I'm calm, I can tell myself to calm down. I'm proud of myself that I calmed myself down and I don't need to do anything. Then I could think about the process, like, yo, you can't fucking beat everybody up. You can't put your hands on nobody. You know, you got to understand they got their free fucking will and they think the way they think. And yeah, they might be fucking stupid. Yeah, they might turn you off. Yeah, they might be controlling. Yeah, they might not realize how annoying they are. But I also have free will. And my free will is to not fuck with them then. I'm out. I can't fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? For whatever it is that it is. You are the way you are and I'm the way I am. I'm not trying to force you to be nothing you don't want to be, man. But I'm not about to sit here and lose my self-control and take myself out of alignment and also put myself in karmic debt where I can't get ahead in life and swag life out. Because once I start getting shit going, the universe got a secret pocket of debt for me because I be punching your fucking lights out whenever you piss me off. Better wake up. My notes to the non-violent. All right? Number 1, operating your free will. Do what you want to do. Do whatever you want to do. Okay? If somebody is in your life and they're controlling and they're narcissistic and there's nothing in the world that you can ever fucking do right in their eyes or whatever, then operating your free will and leave them. All right? Now, I'm not going to sit here and go into all the reasons why people stay with abusive people. I don't want to even get into all of that right now. Go look at my depression video if you want to learn how to undo the unhealthy habits that we have in behaviors. Because all of that correlates with the depressions. Okay? You're not depressed. If you're in a relationship with an abused person, you're not depressed because you're being abused. You're depressed because you don't know why you're allowing the abuse. Okay? Now, shit gets crazy. People get so crazy, they threaten lives and all types of stuff. But you must operate in free will. You must operate in your free will. You must have the will to want to get out of that and want to live. You have to start understanding karma. You have to understand what you're also thus in hand creating for yourself if you stay in that situation, if you raise your children in that situation. If you treat people that way, this is for the non-violent. Even if you allow people to treat you like that, you have to speak up. You have to practice strong mindfulness. Okay? You have more to do than the abuser. Because you can't change them. You can't change them. So it's your responsibility to operate in free will. You have to understand karma and how it works. And you need to start practicing mindfulness. After you do those 3 things, or while you're doing those 3 things, because those things should never stop. Those things should be constantly happening in your life. Once those things are going on in your life, you also need to gravitate to your support system. You need to gravitate towards a support system because you're going to need that. And then 5th, which is last, but it is definitely not least, it is an escape plan. If you are in a situation where there's domestic violence going on, physically, on you, if they're all the children, you gotta go. You can't stay there. You can't stay there. You really gotta go. I'm not gonna tell you how. But there's people out there that'll help you. But no one. You have free will. You have free will, my love, and no one should be making you feel like you are the core source of their supply. However you act determines whether their mood is good or bad. That's an unhealthy situation. That is already a violent thought. And it's just a matter of time before it gets physically violent, verbally violent, mentally violent, sexually violent. And you need to check that. Alrighty, guys. I hope this video helped you guys out. I'm out of here. Subscribe, comment, like, share. I love you guys so very much.